This is Colin James Dawson with the Political Minute. And coming to you tonight, I'm going to try and touch on both situations here in this same address. I mean as little to be mean or anything else, and this is humanly possible. I don't really care over most of it simply because I am an American and live in the area where I've been constantly accused of British terrorism and crimes against the USA in the name of England, as well as my own country, whatever it is, out here, Tennessee, because of my ethnicity and the fact my name is Colin James Dawson. And I had a family member who said that their name was Kirby because they went through a graveyard and said it seemed like the most popular, really American name, and they knew nothing of England. So, in moving along from that, I will address everything here over the death of King Philip, Prince Philip, the Queen's husband, sorry. It's not a tribalism where they hold equality underneath tribalism or Christianity. Apologize for that. But Prince Philip was a great and wonderful person. I will say that if death does come in threes, there was someone that was just as important that died around here. And I mean no disrespect in that, but somewhere about 2 days before he died, I just decided to start making as many things as I knew of from overseas for a playlist on YouTube. It is a rather interesting situation. And I will say, whatever it was, came up 2 days before, feeling whatever it is, just like a little pop that goes off. A little thing pops off. It's not anything else where someone's, trying to do the new stuff and hit you with something or something else like that and be like, we all can talk to each other whenever we get like so much mercury in it. And it's like, if you ever see the show Oddities, they do that. And it's like, oh, I can hear him talking to me through my wrist as they put a little chip in there. Again, I digress. It's nothing like that. I don't claim kinship or anything else. Just that he was a very important person. And however it is, back to everything under the old Allied ship of World War II, he will be remembered in every way out there. I will say he reminds me of my great grandfather. He died on paper just shy of 100. It is sad whenever someone does pass. But as it is, there is no such thing as death as I look at. And I have been privy to probably, I do believe, his father-in-law in a conversation, whether it's true or not, and it came across through whatever it is on 16 different phonographs and records. By however it was, over why they stood against Hitler, Mussolini, and Japan, and everything else of the Third Reich. My grandmother had taken me through movies because I'd watched them whenever I was younger. Several years ago, I saw several of her movies come back on, those old classic black and white and just right at Technicolor that she would know and all this and be told of. And I've seen and witnessed numerous things that one could say is not really there. They're curses from the Pope upon certain members of the royal family that they live onward and everything else. I know certain things over why people are put to certain kingdoms or lordships over in Spain simply because something may be too much to the old ways before the christened kingdoms are there in case there's something that needs to be monitored. And in remaking Camelot back to the old age of Narnia or something else before, that the seven deadly sins hits on in a time period that's just right outside of everything and only encompassed in Hellboy and comic books like that, as they leave out everything of the angelic south. The Britons are a complicated people. The UKs, however it is these days. Rich in history and everything else, and however it is, wherever he comes back at. May it be the best for him. And may he find whatever it is of his new start better, and if somehow he does return to where it is familiar to him, may he know something else better. Or see or find whatever the solution is that he be looking for. And that I will remove myself for a little bit and come back and address another issue. Well, back to everything here on the Political Minute. This is Colin James Dawson. If you're still with me, like and subscribe. As it is, I'll move right along here as I generally do in my insanity of nature, over to the next issue. I'm not sure if I've really addressed anything over the Meghan Merkel or Prince Harry for any of the situation with it. I'm not really sure what I could address. I had someone fuss at me here, and I've had numerous people fussing at me because I've had every single hacker in the world trying to hack in, and since I got like 3 or 4 volumes at the Library of Congress, they think I know what I'm talking about, and that I'm really somehow like their ticket to being around, I don't know, Jerry Burkheimer, who still says they don't have land and property 2 counties away from me, basically, on a huge estate. And it's like, hi, they're human beings, no different than anything else to Burkheimers. Anyway, moving along. Fact of, I remember a blonde-headed woman in high school saying, I wouldn't mind having kids with you, just as long as none of the kids would look like you. And I said, well, I know it's a thing out there that the kids, due to my ethnic nature, could come out red or yellow or whatever it is with me, and black, and, Maybe they'll have more white features like you. Therefore, everybody can really know what privilege is. And I ended up with that at the last of the conversation and went on about 20 minutes, so I'll spare you with that. And I just instantly thought that it was something that I was just supposed to go on about. I know a few people have fussed about that we actually care about this person who is nothing more than a suntanned idiot because I do tan. I do change colors back and forth just drinking Diet Cokes or things that can bleach me without guzzling bleach. And then other people are just like, it doesn't do anything to me. I don't care. In a way, I've always looked at it as possibly that there would be a wild myriad of every single thing out there. That I could have a kid look one way and a kid look another way and a kid look another way. And it's like, I remember Morgan Freeman saying that God loves a world with variety. Do I think that there is somehow something as innocent as a couple of people going on about how there's not enough Asian for them to do anything with me? Basically, I have no political future in the country because everything is based off of who's been harassed and beaten the most. And I'm just like, purebreds, shut up. I mean, it reminds me of something out of a movie with Underworld and everything else, with those that happen to be born vampires and those who were bitten or whatever it is, or else I guess they have a citizenship card, or else people let them hang with them, like in the old days with the Black Panthers. The whole situation of it is, I wasn't there for the conversation. I don't know the people that were involved with it. I do know that England does have a history of the lighter the person is, the purer they are, and they even hide their face behind makeup or something back in the day, and all wanted to have white wigs. France used to want to have red wigs. Spain used to have black wigs at one time, and some of the others. Therefore, they could all appear in the image of whatever founded them. I don't really know everything, quite frankly. Look at the hair. I'm kind of like going, when will it go bald all the way completely and I can, have the Sean Connery / rock sexiness appeal? With everything with physical appearances and everything else, just like how I've got this one little weird patch right there from something, but I just look at people and go, doesn't matter, does it? I mean, every single thing with nowadays, in the next 20 years, will probably, if we don't enter into an extreme dark age, the entire world will just go around constantly genetically splicing everybody to where everyone looks perfect. And while I see that there is a larger thing underneath royalty, because they say that there's 2 or 3 things that I'm connected to in some way or something else with that, or 5 or 6, something, and it's like someone's got to bring up something, and it's like I can't ever just be Colin. And then everybody in Italy is always trying to figure out a way here, because quite frankly I don't see how Italy has a population, since so many people were brought here and they had so many kids for World War II, and they just keep bringing them in as illegal immigrants. But we blame Mexicans because they have a thing in their constitution that says that Native American descended people outrank everybody else, and that it is always for the native peoples and their friends. Now, I understand everything about this with people thinking that someone has to sacrifice if someone shows up too red without white hair. Welsh people, I'm talking to some stereotypes there. That they all have to be sacrificed upon something out there and eating the power of something so that they can all become great, wonderful people and rule something because they never had anything internally inside of them. I wasn't ever there for the conversation. I don't know how it came up in conversation. And I know I'm pretty stupid about my own. When are people being racist to you unless it's someone just going too much of purebred, pure color, whatever it is? And I'm like going, well, it's the Roman Comedy Club that came around there and just started wanting to talk to people and then started shooting them and assassinating them everywhere out there. And it's like the KKK from Rome has no colors. The Dixons from Rome have no colors. One of them just cuts themselves, the other one doesn't. And then somehow there's like the Mussolini version where it's like we know what properly to cut on ourselves. And then we know there has to be something else later. We brought that to the Mayan and the Aztecs. And I'm just going, yeah, anything that the USA does that's a movie from Central America, they'll have a Mussolini show up there somewhere in it. And they're technically, I mean, they had a little monkey that they grinded an organ with. And honestly, I would say if they could, they made a little monkey from their organ grinder and everything else. And it's stealing the money out of both sides' pockets on this and going around whispering little things into each other's ears, trying to make things worse. Now, I wish I could say something really good, really snazzy here, but I wasn't there for it. And I know I'm very stupid over everything, and I just instantly go, well, our kids could come out looking black, possibly, or else really deep black red, or something else like that. And, there's a possibility that could happen. And it's like, if they looked white, I wouldn't really care either about if they looked like you. Just a stupid conversation out there when someone sits there and talks to you in middle school to high school about having kids because, quite frankly, we live in a war state. We all know we're dead meat and someone's going to grind us up and eat us as a hamburger probably by the time we're 30 or something else and call it kosher. You do know other ethnicities use kosher and it's just has nothing to do with anything and can have something still to do with Passover. There was two guys they murdered down there / killed in self-defense. So I'm just saying, while I think that the whole thing with Meghan and Prince Harry, they're natural celebrities. Something of that is going to be naturally to every single commoner person around the whole world, whether they are to them as a head of church, a new head of church, or anything else. And it will come up. And it will come up all the way over into Africa and places that do not look at themselves as black or white. And it will have something in a small way of understanding of a universal thing out there for that. Now, do I know if it's like, well, he's going to look really funny? I mean, what do you think he's going to look like? I mean, you can hear when they start that tone of their voice that that's what they're implying without saying, no, he's going to look really funny, kind of outplaced. Or else is it going to be like, it's going to be so wonderful like that person from 1140 or something else that was very red Welsh before they started putting on all the white makeup or something. Or really tan and dark like one of the people in the parliamentary times for the times of Queen Elizabeth I, from some of the people that came there from the Moors in Spain and everything. And it's like, there is such a thing as like, oh, I can't wait to see, because, I've put that in my own head. I can't wait to see what color my first and third and fifth kids are. And, I used to want to have 12. Now I'm like, 40. Technically, if they go with my ethnicity off of something thing, I don't have a limitation in the USA Army. And they can come and call me up to be like a frontline advisor anytime where they put the mortar rounds in and don't need planes to track me down. So it's like I have to carry a cell phone and an iPhone out here because it doesn't really matter. I'm so close. But looking at it all, I'm just going, my own perspective, I'd almost sit there and be like, well, if it was blank, 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 or blank, that would mean I'd be like saying, oh, wow, I'm I'm going to have like a little kid, and they're going to have this one. I mean, people always wonder what the hair color is, what the eye color is, everything else. They always wonder what they're going to have there or anything. And in a way, I wonder if it was a little bit like that. Do I think that they meant it in a standing off malicious sense? And if they can have everything done to where they still stay with the queen and king or the royalty over there, that the child will achieve title, and that it'll be like the hidden version of the Tudors, simply because there's such a thing with how Africans are incapable of being made underneath the Catholic Church, and that it's almost like they're hiding them out a little bit like that, and the Tudor lineage married back into the royal family of the next dynasty, and therefore nothing was ever lost from it. I think 3 generations they lived over there and moved around a set of twins over and everything from Queen Elizabeth I. But again, without a book or anything else, you're just looked at as crazy because names and words jumble in my head. I'm dyslexic, supposedly. Anyway, enough with biblical state secrets there, and I'm going to end this over the possibility of everything and how people are pushed away for the benefit, non-benefit, or else something for a reconciliation later down that I'm sure any moment here, probably when everybody hits 50 or 60, something like that, they will all realize one of the intricacies of not putting all eggs in one basket. If you want to go with some cold situations while everyone else who has something to do with whatever has been brought up of racism are dealt with. Colin James Dawson. Like and subscribe and share. The Political Minute. Signing off.